Judge, did you swear in Kelly Joseph and Carolyn Pena before 10 o'clock this morning? And have ex parte communication?
I don't know that it was an ex parte communication, Mr. Saldana. We had 2 dockets this morning, and that your case was called in the ordinary course, and really nothing transpired on it, but I did call it, and usually you're here at 9 o'clock. So I don't know whether you were noticed for 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock. And if we called it and you were not here without knowing what happened to you, then, you know, the court apologizes. We didn't do anything, but the court apologizes for that. And so let's just go ahead and deal with, since you are now here, let's just go ahead and deal with whatever we need to deal with. That's the only thing that transpired this morning.
I wasn't at that, and this is the second time. December 2nd, you also had ex parte communication with Mr. Joseph.
Okay, Mr. Saldana, I'm not going to keep arguing with you. Well, I mean, if for some reason your cases are always on Fridays, and they tend to be, you know, we've got dismissal dockets, we've got entry dockets and everything else. So I'm, again, not going to let you dictate how our process goes. And usually you're here early, or you're here by 9 o'clock docket call. I don't know why you were not here. We didn't hear this case at 9. We might have heard it at 3 minutes to 10. And again, I apologize if I didn't wait long enough for you to check in. However,
I was
again, Mr. Saldana, again, just accept the court's apology and let's move on to what you're here for, or what you think you're here for.
Well, both of the videos you just saw came from a January 21st, 2022 hearing with Judge Sandra Peake out of the 257th Court. This video is 4 years to the date ago. And I haven't seen Christopher in 4.5 years. But this hearing, this status conference, is one of the reasons why I can't see Christopher. Because of ex parte communication, what I've been saying. So on page 14 of this transcript, Judge, did you swear in Kelly Joseph and Carolyn Pena before 10 o'clock this morning and have ex parte communication? I started looking back, and if you go to page 10, you see short recess. So I want to know what that recess is. If I go to page 9, you'll also see proceeding recess. The court calls cause number, so they're calling the court. Again, we're going backwards. So let's just go to the beginning of where this all started, and that is page 3, which is going to be, on page 3 is where you get the chronological index. And on page 4 is where it starts. The court calls cause number 2016-33379, and it's styled Office of the Attorney General versus George Saldana. So this is where my friends that were court observing were able to see that they had already been sworn in. And this is just for the record. There was a motion to dismiss temporary restraining order with prejudice and a request for death penalty sanctions, which was filed on this case. It was filed on the record on 1/7/2022. However, the court is looking up the file stamp, and it looks like it was filed on September 3rd, 2021. And I'm not sure exactly, but the file mark it's stamped over for some reason. And then in reviewing the motion that was referenced, it was noted that there was a certificate of service attached that indicates that a true and correct copy of the foregoing pleading or document has been served upon all attorneys and record of September 3rd of 2021. All right, so that's kind of inconsistent as well. In addition, the court reviewed the pleading itself. Although there was a certificate of service, there was no notice of hearing. And so without the notice of hearing, there's no ability to either set the matter for a hearing or have the matter placed on the court's docket. So at this time, it's not on the docket, and it wasn't properly noticed for a hearing. So that matter, I can't even pass it. It just didn't happen. And that concludes the recitation for the docket purposes. Opposing counsel, thank you. The court, all right, Mr. Joseph, are you here? Mr. Joseph states, yes, Your Honor, I am here. I have my client here for our in-person status conference hearing scheduled for today. I do not believe Mr. Saldana has appeared. He certainly has not appeared in person. Okay, so I don't see him on the screen, and you know we've already called. So the court says, I don't see him on the screen, so you know we've already called. I don't see your client either, or you. Mr. Joseph, I'm here in the courtroom, Judge. The court. Oh, okay. Mr. Joseph, this is an in-person hearing on Saldana. Okay, very good. Mr. Joseph, it's a status conference. Again, they were wanting me to drive from San Antonio to Houston for these status conferences, which it is what it is. All right, so Ms. McBride, for the record, will note that Mr. Joseph is present in person. And Mr. Joseph, if you could have your client raise her right hand so she can be sworn to. Yes, Your Honor. Carolyn Pena, having first duly sworn, testifies as follows. All right, there you go. And would you identify yourself for the record? Carolyn Pena. The court, all right. Mr. Joseph, Your Honor, for the record, I think this is a status conference. I think what we're going to need is to get a DRO order. Wait a second, I missed. I got status conference. I'm going to need you to speak louder. The attorney. Yes, Your Honor. Would you like us to approach the bench? The court, yes. Come a little closer, please. Mr. Joseph says, yes, Your Honor. The court, and off the record, we don't know what was said. Again, short recess. Mr. Joseph, Judge Kelly Joseph here. This is our status conference, and so far what we found is that the DRO, which had an order for them to do an evaluation of Mr. Saldana's home in San Antonio and Ms. Pena's home here in Houston. And originally there was a cost issue. And we have gotten into an agreement with Mr. Saldana that my client would actually pay part of his portion of the cost of getting that done so they could get the custody evaluation done. However, they need a better, different order in order to get that done. And it looks like I'll be having to draft something like that. I do not know that I will get any cooperation from Mr. Saldana on that. In addition, my client has made her efforts to schedule with the DRO for supervised possession and access through the SAFE program. However, I don't believe they heard from Mr. Saldana on that either. And that's really all I have to report to the court, Your Honor. So the court says, okay, so Mr. Joseph, I would ask that you would submit that order, particularized requirements of the DRO since their investigation of his residence. Well, because he resides in San Antonio, yes, Your Honor. We're on page 8. I have no idea where this is going. I wasn't involved. But they're talking about the SAFE program. They're talking about drafting an order, and I'm not there. And that'll be fine, the court says. Mr. Joseph, we'll use one of their orders so they don't have any problem doing that. The court says, I'm sorry. I will use one of their orders on language that they suggest so they will be on board. So again, they're making deals in the background to get it done. And I'm not there. I'm pro se. This is all ex parte. And so it goes on from 8 to page 9. The amicus comes on, right? So the amicus doesn't even ask for me as well. On page 9, Jessica Moreno. Judge, the amicus is here. Okay. And did you have any issues, ma'am, with what we're doing at this particular point? Did you want to weigh in on it? Never mind George Saldana, who's representing himself pro se, but they're asking the amicus. So again, Kelly Joseph, my ex, and the amicus are all there before 10 o'clock. They're swearing people in. They're asking all of these questions. And then now you can see why Judge Peake is upset with me, because I'm calling her out on social media. I mean, she's the one who said,
you're not able to pick and choose what you choose to disseminate. The record will stand for what the record is.
It's not the complete record. And what am I doing? I'm reading you the complete record. So I don't know about y'all, but I do believe I should be in those types of talks, especially if I represent myself pro se. This case has gone to shit because of the simple due process procedural portions of the 257th are compromised. This judge is going to talk to whoever she wants. If you're in the 257th court, due process is definitely gone. This judge is talking to an amicus, to counsel, without me being there.
You know, there was no ex parte communication. There was no testimony taken. Basically, you're just trying to get our housekeeping matters taken care of.
But I should be in there. You keep removing me from Zoom.
You will raise your hand before, and I will acknowledge you by saying, okay, Mr. Saldana, you can speak now. But if I'm speaking, you need to zip. Okay.
That should be patient. That's a judicial canon, and you're yelling at me. You're asking questions.
I'm not going to argue with you on the damn platform. Okay? You need to stop. Now.
Ms. McBride, at 10 o'clock, was there a record made that Judge Peake swore in Kelly Joseph and Carolyn Pena?
We started the record and reset. Yeah, swore her in and we recessed.
Okay. I logged in at 10, and they're saying that Judge Peake had a conversation with Kelly Joseph and Carolyn Pena without me being there. Is that correct?
She swore them in and you weren't here, so we recessed it.
No, don't tell him anything. No, don't tell him anything. No, don't tell him anything. No, don't tell him anything.
You recessed it.
Yeah, so we'll start up when the court is ready again.
Talking about the DRO, and if they were having ex parte communication, I'm trying to figure out if there was a record made.
Yes, we're on the record. You if you want to send me the requested writing, then I'll give you an estimate.
He's recording all of this. He's recording all of this. He's recording all of this. He's recording all of this.
You know, docket call was at 10. I have a screenshot showing I was signed in at 10, and yet I wasn't a part of this communication that she had with opposing counsel and Carolyn Pena. So I want to make sure that that's on the record, because you know, that's a big no-no.